Hey everyone, Andrew Meet Rich here, and welcome back to another episode where we dive deep into the mindset and habits that either build wealth or keep you broke. Now, before we jump into today's heavy-hitting topic, I want you to do me a quick favor. Smash that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up on this channel. Today we're talking about 10 specific behaviors that I see over and over again in people who stay stuck financially. And look, I'm not here to sugarcoat this or make you feel good about bad habits. I'm here to give you the truth that might sting a little, but could change your entire financial future. When I was drowning in debt back in Chicago, I was guilty of most of these myself. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. But please, and I mean this, use this as a mirror to examine where you might be sabotaging your own success. Now, every time I make a video like this, some people get offended and start typing angry comments. But here's the thing, while you're busy getting mad at me, the people who are serious about building wealth are taking notes and asking themselves the tough questions. Look, I've worked with millionaires in New York, Los Angeles, Miami, and Houston. I've seen the patterns. I've consulted with mentors who've built 8- and 9-figure businesses. These aren't random observations. These are documented differences in daily behaviors between people who build wealth and people who stay broke. Are there exceptions? Absolutely. Can everyone control every circumstance? Of course not. But recognizing these patterns and changing what you can control, that's where your power lies. And who knows, maybe stopping just a few of these behaviors will get you closer to that financial goal you've been dreaming about. Let's dive into the top 10 habits that are keeping you financially stuck. All right, let's dive into habit number 1. Poor people watch way too much television. Let me put this bluntly. If you have time to binge watch reality shows, you're probably struggling financially. It's always shocking to me how much time financially struggling people waste on mindless TV. This is one of those distractions that grabs you and never lets go. If you know which celebrity is dating who, if you're religiously following weekly TV episodes as they come out, if you have a favorite news channel that you watch religiously, you're probably watching too much television, and that's probably why your bank account looks the way it does. Here's the thing. Celebrity gossip and entertainment buzz adds zero value to your life. It only serves the celebrities and the networks making money off your attention. Instead of consuming this stuff, you could be learning skills, building side hustles, or networking with people who could change your life. Now you might say, but Andrew, I watch shows like The Big Bang Theory because it's funny and helps me unwind. And that's exactly the problem right there. You're unwinding from your problems instead of facing them head on and solving them. Look, I get the John Lennon quote about time you enjoy wasting not being wasted time. But seriously, think about this. If sitting and mindlessly scrolling or watching screens is what you truly enjoy doing, what does that say about your ambitions? Before we move to the second habit, let me clarify what I meant about having a favorite news channel. You might argue that staying informed is important. Sure, staying aware of world events matters, but here's the problem I see. Most news stations are heavily biased and designed to keep you watching, not inform you. Instead, use the power of the internet to quickly scan what's happening in the world, then get back to building your own empire. Habit number 2. Poor people eat fast food regularly. Your health is absolutely crucial to your wealth, and many people who struggle financially just don't care about what they're putting in their bodies. They don't know what real healthy food looks like, and they know almost nothing about nutrition. Poor people are literally poisoning their brains with massive amounts of sugar and fats that have zero nutritional value. They're actively destroying their bodies, and when you're not healthy, you cannot perform at 100% of your potential. If you're not healthy, every aspect of your life suffers directly. You'll struggle physically, mentally, professionally, and yes, even romantically. Think about it this way. How can you build wealth when you're constantly tired, foggy-headed, and dealing with health issues that could have been prevented? The wealthy understand that their body is their most important asset and they fuel it accordingly. Number 3. Poor people buy clothes and products that are on sale. Let me say this clearly. The only thing you should buy on sale is stocks. While poor people focus on saving or stretching what little they have, wealthy people focus on increasing their income streams. Just think about this logically. Clothes that end up on sale are the ones that people who could afford full price didn't want to buy. By purchasing clothes on sale, you're essentially ensuring that you look exactly like someone who couldn't afford to pay full price. This scarcity mindset keeps you trapped. Instead of hunting for deals on depreciating assets, wealthy people hunt for opportunities to make more money. They understand that looking successful and feeling feeling confident in quality items is an investment in their earning potential. When you walk into a room wearing quality clothes that fit well, people treat you differently. That treatment translates into opportunities, connections, and ultimately more money. Habit number 4. Poor people wake up later than wealthy people. In my early years when I was broke, I was definitely guilty of this one. I know some of you are going to get triggered by this statement, but it's statistically true. Someone who used their youth to grow personally and professionally is much less likely to stay poor later in life. If you're waking up late, not educating yourself, and spending time on meaningless activities, at some point you'll find yourself so far behind what the world demands from you that you'll end up miserable and frustrated. Here's the paradox. People who don't focus on growth in their early years end up working much harder with much less success later in life just to stay afloat. I've studied inspiring people for years now, and almost all of them, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, wake up early. There's something powerful about starting your day before the rest of the world wakes up. Those quiet morning hours? That's when millionaires are born. Number 5. Poor people spend too much time watching sports. Look, unless you're a professional athlete or you own one of the teams, there's really no financial reason to spend hours watching sports. It's the same escape mechanism as television. It's a distraction from your current reality. Think about it this way. You're putting yourself in a position where you, as an individual, have absolutely zero influence on the outcome of the game, zero impact on the result. This behavior pattern sticks with you, and you end up becoming a spectator in your own life instead of being a player or an owner. Then you start criticizing other people's performance when you haven't done anything remarkable yourself. Are you getting fired up about your favorite team losing while your own bank account is losing? Are you memorizing player statistics while ignoring your own financial statistics? The wealthy are too busy creating their own wins to get emotionally invested in other people's games. Here's a surprising one. Number 6. Poor people don't shower as often as wealthy people. Initially, I thought this was just a made-up stereotype, but it turns out it's statistically true, and honestly, it explains a lot when you really think about it. Most jobs today are in service industries where human interaction is mandatory for successful value exchange. People with poor personal hygiene will be less successful than their peers who present themselves well. People tend to trust them less, want to spend less time in their presence, and this has consequences in their professional lives. If people don't like being around you and don't want to spend time with you, what kind of business partners will you attract? What kind of romantic partners? This might sound ridiculous, but one of the first steps to success should be taking a shower every morning. Personal hygiene isn't just about cleanliness, it's about respect. Respect for yourself, respect for others, and setting a standard that tells the world you're serious about success. Number 7. Poor people blame others for their misfortune. How many people do you know who have some kind of excuse or blame external factors for why they haven't succeeded yet? Sure, there are some things outside our control, but 99% of your life is on you. Remember, you are responsible for your life. You're responsible for your relationships. You're responsible for your health. You're responsible for your financial situation. If you want something to change, you have to change it. Life isn't what happens to us. It's how we respond to what happens to us. When something bad happens, poor people prefer to feel sorry for themselves, while wealthy people study the situation. They look to understand what happened, why it happened, and how they can protect themselves from it in the future. While one assumes the position of a helpless victim, the other uses setbacks as growing points. One mindset keeps you broke, the ought. Number 8. Poor people don't save money. One of the biggest differences between poor people and wealthy people is that poor people aren't prepared for what comes next. Having money set aside allows for growth and opportunity. Let's say something bad happens. If you have money saved, the problem gets solved and you can resume your life. If you don't have savings and the situation is urgent, you either have to liquidate assets like your car or house, or you take on debt. For wealthy people, when the crisis is over, they are back in the same financial position with their savings intact. For someone who's poor, their lifestyle has been dramatically impacted, or they now owe money to creditors. Now let's look at the complete opposite scenario. An opportunity arises. Those who have money set aside can now expand their lives and take advantage, while others can't afford to fully capitalize on the opportunity. This is exactly why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Savings isn't just about emergencies, it's about being ready when opportunity knocks. Number 9. Poor people use credit cards or take loans for worthless things. One of the major differences between the wealthy and the poor is how they use credit. The rule is simple. If you're taking credit to buy something that won't generate more money than the credit costs, don't take it. It's that straightforward. You should only use credit if what you're using it for is an investment that will pay you back. Want to take credit for a big television? Don't do it. Want credit to buy that new designer gear? Don't do it. Want to use credit cards to get the new iPhone? Don't do it. Unless you're flipping that designer gear for profit or using that iPhone to develop a new app or grow your business. These items should not be purchased with credit. Instead, make the money first, then spend it. The wealthy use debt as a tool to acquire appreciating assets. The poor use debt to buy things that make them feel better temporarily, but leave them worse off financially. Number 10. Poor people tend to have more children earlier in life. This is a tough truth, but children are really expensive. We all know how fun it is to make them, but people get stuck at that point and don't think through the financial reality. Just to give you perspective, if you live in one of the more developed states, raising a child will cost you approximately $250,000 from birth to 18. Due to lack of financial education, limited resources, and other factors, poor people have more children on average and at younger ages than their wealthy counterparts. While wealthy people wait a couple of years until their living standards improve to provide the proper environment and foundation for their child to thrive, poor people often just keep going. Once the child arrives, the struggle begins just for them to stay afloat, and progress beyond barely surviving becomes nearly impossible to achieve. I'm not saying don't have kids. I'm saying plan for them financially so you can give them the life they deserve. Number 10. Poor people spend money before they earn it. One of the biggest financial dangers in life is spending money before you actually have it. When you start borrowing money or acquiring expenses before you can pay for them, your life starts to spiral out of control. If you don't have the money to pay for what you want without negatively impacting your life, then you can't afford it. It's that simple. Go back to work, earn the money, then spend it. This habit of spending future money is what keeps people trapped in the paycheck-to-paycheck cycle. Every month, they're paying for last month's decisions instead of building for next month's opportunities. The wealthy operate on the opposite principle. They pay themselves first, save money, then spend what's left. They buy assets that appreciate, not liabilities that drain their future income. Remember, every dollar you spend on credit is a dollar plus interest that you're stealing from your future self. Look, I know this episode was pretty intense, but I believe it could help you on your journey. If you know someone who's guilty of any of these 10 habits, please do them a favor and share this episode with them. Hit that like button if this resonated with you, and drop a comment telling me, what other money habits do you think keep people poor? What would you add to this list? I read every comment and I love hearing from you. And hey, if you're still here listening, that tells me you're serious about changing your financial situation. If you've made it to this point and want to prove you're serious about building wealth, write "I will be rich" in the comments section. Put your intentions out there so we can hold you accountable. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss another episode where we dive deep into the mindset and strategies that build real wealth. I've also dropped some recommended videos below that I think you should watch next. Thanks for being part of this community, and remember, your financial future is in your hands. Nobody's coming to save you, but that's actually the best news you could hear, because it means you have all the power to change everything. I'll see you in the next episode.